Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another day of learning. Your teachers today are Amanda and Candy. Get ready for another fun episode full of learning.
Hi, scholars. We are so excited to see you today. My name is Amanda.
And my name is Candy. We have our special friend Rattenborough with us today.
Hi, friends. I can't wait to tell you more about animals today.
You're in for a special treat today, boys and girls. Rattenborough is going to talk to us about how to classify animals as either cold-blooded or warm-blooded.
Hey, I remember Sylvia and Elisa talking about that word classify. Whoa, I do too. We learned that scientists classify animals. I know that this branch of science is called taxonomy.
Rattenborough, you're right. Scientists called taxonomists classify animals by their characteristics, or how they are alike and different, so we can all learn more about them.
Today, you'll be learning more about an important characteristic taxonomists use to classify animals, whether an animal is cold-blooded or warm-blooded.
I can't wait. Let's look at some words we'll need to know for our story today, and then we can learn all about cold-blooded and warm-blooded animals.
That sounds so great. It looks like Candy has put up our first word, and that's bask. Boys and girls, when we say what word, that means it's your turn to say the word back to us. So let's try it. The word is bask. What's the word? Yes, bask. Bask means to warm the body by lying in the sun or a comfortably warm place. Hey, I like to bask in the sun, especially on a cold day.
Yes, Rattenborough, it feels great to bask or lay in the warm sun. Great observation. Our next word is cold-blooded. What word? Yes, cold-blooded. An animal that's cold-blooded has a body temperature that changes with the temperature of their environment.
Hey, I bet that's why cold-blooded animals, like turtles, like to sit on a log on sunny days. You've got it, Amanda. Oh, I can read the next word. Constant. What's the word? Yes, constant. Constant means not changing very much and staying steady and even, like a human's body temperature, Candy.
That's right, Rattenborough. Our next word is estivate. What word? Yes, estivate.
I've never heard that word before. What does estivate mean?
Estivate means to become inactive or not active during the summer in order to avoid too much heat or getting dried out.
Oh, I wish I could estivate this summer. It gets too hot to play outside, and it's super hot on sunny days.
That's right. The next word is huddle. Boys and girls, what word? Yes, huddle. When you huddle, you crowd or squeeze together in a group to stay warm.
I have a sentence for that one. In the wintertime, my family will huddle together to stay warm. Hey, I bet all of you will stay nice and warm in your huddle, Rattenborough.
I agree. Let's look at the next word. Internal. Boys and girls, can you say the word internal? Great job. Internal means on the inside or center of an object or organism.
Hey, I have a sentence for that one. A person's internal temperature is usually warmer than his or her surroundings. Wow, you're smart, Amanda.
You sure are. Our next word is Regulate. What word? Yes, regulate. Regulate means to control or adjust something, to keep it working properly. Just like the turtles on the log you talked about, Amanda. They're trying to regulate their body temperature. Our last word is warm-blooded. What word? Yes, warm-blooded. An animal that's warm-blooded can control their body temperature by making heat within their body and has ways to cool the body down when needed.
I am so excited to learn more about these words today. Scholars, are you ready to hear Rattenborough tell us a story? Great, I am too. Hi, boys and girls. I have brought along my slideshow once again. Today we're going to look at slides of my friends, some of whom are cold-blooded animals and some of whom are warm-blooded animals. By the sound of it, you would think that warm-blooded animals have warm blood and cold-blooded animals have cold blood, but that is not the case. The body temperature of a cold-blooded animal changes according to the surroundings or the environment of that animal, whereas a warm-blooded animal maintains about the same temperature all of the time. I heard that you are keeping a chart to sort or classify animals into groups. What a great idea! You are practicing taxonomy, the study of classifying organisms, exactly like taxonomists do. You're going to be learning how to sort animals in lots of different ways. Today, we're going to sort these 5 vertebrate groups into 2 smaller groups, cold-blooded and warm-blooded. Now, I'd like to help you understand a little more about cold-blooded animals. Paolo Piranha lives in the country of Colombia on the continent of South America. He's a fish. His body temperature changes with his surroundings. Right now, his temperature is the same as the water in which he is swimming. When you go swimming, chances are the water is colder than your body temperature. That's why you may feel cold when you first get in the water. Paolo does not ever feel cold in water because there is no difference between his temperature and the water temperature where he lives. Have any of you ever used a thermometer? Perhaps when you are sick, your parents or a nurse might measure your temperature with a thermometer. When warm-blooded people get ill, their temperatures often rise or go up. A person's normal body temperature is about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and it remains constant or about the same most of the time. That's very different from Paolo. The way in which an animal's body temperature is controlled determines whether it is a cold-blooded or warm-blooded animal. My friend Paolo told me that his internal or inside body temperature is never constant. It does not stay the same. He cannot heat his body from the inside like you do, so his temperature must change with his surroundings. In order for his body to work properly, he becomes hot when it is hot around him and cold when it is cold around him. So you see, although you and Paolo are both vertebrates, you also have differences. One of you is cold-blooded and one of you is warm-blooded. Which one are you? You're right, you are warm-blooded. So that makes Paolo, oh yes, cold-blooded. Most fish are cold-blooded. In fact, most animals on Earth are cold-blooded. 2 of my other friends are cold-blooded as well. Next, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Anaconda. Like Paolo, Anna lives in the rainforest of South America too, in the country of Peru. In fact, she shares Paolo's river home, but she is not a fish. She can swim, but she lives on land and is not dependent upon the water to stay alive. Does anyone remember what group of animals Anna belongs to? Oh, if you said Anaconda is classified as a reptile, you're right. She shares some of Paolo's characteristics. They are both cold-blooded, but that doesn't mean that they don't enjoy being warm. Anna loves the heat. Her body is very long indeed, and she told me that one of her favorite things to do is bask in the sun. Because she cannot control her own body temperature, Anna depends on the sun and her warm surroundings to keep properly warm. In fact, my other cold-blooded friend, Tabitha Toad, likes the sun too. Frogs and toads share some of the same characteristics as fish and reptiles. They use their surroundings to maintain or keep constant the proper body temperature. Yes, indeed, Tabitha Toad is cold-blooded, just like Paolo and Anna. And like Paolo and Anna, Tabitha is very comfortable around water. She comes from the Amazon rainforest in the country of Brazil. But just because her home is near the largest river in the world, it doesn't mean she lives in the water all the time. Tabitha and all toads are actually more comfortable on land, whereas frogs prefer to be wet. Tabitha is an amphibian, which means that she can live both in and out of water. So, there you have it. Fish, reptile, amphibian. 3 groups of cold-blooded creatures. Their body temperatures change depending upon where they are, becoming warm when their surroundings are warm and cold when it's cold around them. Because they do not have constant body temperatures, they can easily become too hot or too cold. They have developed characteristics and behaviors so that they can live in certain habitats. My 3 friends do not live in very cold climates, but some cold-blooded animals do. In order to stay warm in colder climates, some snakes huddle or crowd together, hibernating underground during the winter months. Some turtles dig down deep into the warm mud and hibernate at the bottom of streams and ponds to stay warm when it is cold outside. I'm thinking that this turtle is searching for just the right spot in which to hibernate along this muddy bottom. In winter, there is less food for animals to forage or search for, so it's a good time for them to hibernate or become inactive and live off the stored energy in their bodies. Cold-blooded animals that live in very hot climates must do something like hibernate too. Instead of hibernation, which describes the process of keeping warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals from freezing when it is cold outside, the term estivation is used to describe the process of keeping only cold-blooded animals from overheating when it is very hot outside or losing too much moisture during very dry periods. For example, crocodiles estivate or become inactive when it is hot. They stay in water or mud to cool off and escape the heat of the very hot climates where many of them live. Some snails estivate to stay moist during parts of the summer dry season. So, everybody, let's see what you have learned from seeing our cold-blooded friends, Paolo, Anna, and Tabitha. If the temperature outside is 45 degrees Fahrenheit, what are their body temperatures going to be? Oh, I heard it, 45 degrees. Cold-blooded animals do not have a constant internal body temperature. It changes with their surroundings. Warm-blooded animals like you and me are much different. The outside temperature is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what is your internal temperature going to be? Oh yes, 98.6 Fahrenheit or close to that. Because our bodies regulate our internal body temperatures and keep them constant, we are able to live in both very hot and very cold habitats. Most of the time, warm-blooded animals don't even have to think about regulating their body temperatures. They use the food they eat to produce heat inside their bodies. Sometimes, however, in especially cold or hot temperatures, they need to do a little extra something to help regulate their temperature. What do you do to help your body stay warm when it is very cold outside? Yes, you may put on extra layers of clothing, move around, sit by the fire, or drink some hot chocolate. Can anyone tell me what you do to cool off on a hot day? Yes, you may take off some extra clothing, lie still, go for a swim, or have a cool drink. Dogs pant and humans sweat to cool off as well. Like people, other animals seek out the shade of trees to cool themselves. Some animals, like the elephant, can fan themselves with their large ears. The large, thin ears of some animals are good places for heat to escape, which cools their bodies even more. Let's learn a little about two of my other friends, my warm-blooded friends, a bird, Ebenezer Egret, and a fellow mammal, Hilda Hippo. They both live on the continent of Africa. Ebenezer in the country of South Africa and Hilda in the East African country of Tanzania. Mammals and birds produce their own body heat internally, which keeps their body temperatures constant. We're going to see some ways these warm-blooded animals help their bodies hold on to their warmth when it's cold outside and keep cool when it's very hot outside. One thing's for sure, Ebenezer does not put on a winter coat like you and I do when it's cold outside. Of course, he doesn't need to put on an extra coat because he already has a brilliant coat of feathers. Feathers help keep Ebenezer warm. Birds that live in cold climates sometimes travel south for the winter to make it easier to stay warm and find more available food. Migration is a behavior or something an animal does to help it stay warm. Often, physical characteristics help keep an animal warm. Ebenezer wears a coat of feathers and I wear a coat of fur. Are you wondering what Hilda Hippo uses for a little additional warmth because she doesn't have fur? Let's take a look and see. Well, I have a bit of news for you. In the hot tropical climates of Africa where Hilda Hippo lives, trying to stay cool is more common than trying to stay warm. Hilda's body design is perfect for helping her stay cool. She has a nice layer of blubber that insulates her and helps her float. Hippopotami spend lots of time in the water of lakes and rivers to escape the heat. Notice how having its nostrils, eyes, and ears on top of its head lets the hippopotamus keep most of its body underwater where it can stay cool. Ebenezer also uses water to stay cool. Even though egrets can't swim, they do spend lots of time wading in the water, mostly to get their dinner. They feast on fish and toads and plenty of insects in order to store up the energy needed to control their body temperatures. Well, everybody, that's the end of our reading today. You have learned a lot about the taxonomy of cold-blooded and warm-blooded animals. So now you can fill out your chart. Now, let's review the characteristics of cold-blooded and warm-blooded animals.
Boys and girls, what is the main difference between a cold-blooded animal and a warm-blooded animal? Share your thoughts with someone watching with you.
I heard it, boys and girls. A cold-blooded animal cannot control its body temperature. It takes on the temperature of its surroundings. A warm-blooded animal maintains a constant body temperature, no matter if it's hot or cold outside.
Now, We will place the images of Rattenborough's friends on our chart and identify them as either cold-blooded or warm-blooded animals. Remember, when we classify animals, we group them into certain categories. Let's start with Rattenborough's friend, Paolo Piranha. Is he cold-blooded or warm-blooded?
Let's see. I remember Rattenborough telling us that Paolo Piranha is a fish, and when he swims, he doesn't get hot or cold because his body temperature is the same as the water. So that makes him cold-blooded.
What do you think, boys and girls? If you said fish are cold-blooded, you are correct. We'll put his picture in the cold-blooded column.
All right, Rattenborough, who's next? What about my friend Tabitha Toad?
Ooh, I think I know this one. Rattenborough, didn't you tell us that Tabitha Toad liked to warm herself in the sun to stay warm?
I did. We also read about how toads like the land and the water.
Tabitha Toad is cold-blooded because she cannot regulate her own temperature. So we'll put her picture in the cold-blooded column as well.
All right, who's next?
Next is Hilda Hippo. Where should we place her picture, boys and girls? You got it. Hippos are mammals, so they control their own body temperature. That makes Hilda Hippo a warm-blooded animal.
I've got a tricky one for you. What about my friend Ebenezer Egret?
Ebenezer Egret is in the bird family because he has wings and lays eggs. Although some birds in cold climates migrate or go where it's warmer in the winter, Ebenezer Egret is warm-blooded and can keep his body temperature steady.
Right again. Let's put his picture in the warm-blooded column.
You got it. Anaconda is our last friend to classify today. Boys and girls, which group do you think he belongs to? Anaconda is a reptile, so she is cold-blooded just like Paolo Piranha and Tabitha Toad. In our story today, we learn that snakes, like Anna, sometimes huddle or crowd together during the winter months to stay warm.
Wow, boys and girls, you did great sorting my friends to either cold-blooded or warm-blooded animals.
Yes, they did, Rattenborough. Thanks for sharing the story about all of your animal friends. We learned a lot about cold-blooded and warm-blooded animals today.
And we worked as a team to help each other fill out our chart. And working as a team is always more fun than working by yourself.
I agree, Rattenborough.
Oh, I've had so much fun today. Boys and girls, we hope you've enjoyed learning all about cold-blooded and warm-blooded animals. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Amanda and Candy. All rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of the Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Once again, thank you, Amanda and Candy, and thank you for joining us today, boys and girls. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.